guys, what's happening and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're recapping Static Shock, the 90s comic icon who charged his way into our TV screens from the early 2000s. From his origins at Milestone Comics and his rise in popularity that caught DC's attention to his impactful animated series that tackled real-world issues. Before we get into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more future videos going forward. Now let's jump right in. So Season 1 kicks off in some random Dakota warehouse where a teen stops a robbery. How? By flying on a manhole cover and zapping bad guys with electricity. Yep, you heard that right. And just for some extra flair, he sticks them to the ceiling. But wait, 2 days ago, this kid was just your average Joe, or rather, Virgil. Now Virgil Hawkins, at the age of 14, starts his day off like any other teen, arguing with his sister and daydreaming about asking his crush Frida to homecoming. But school isn't just about crushes. His day takes a turn when Francis, aka F-Stop, because every school has that one guy, tries to flirt with Frida. Virgil steps in and gets a taste of Francis's fist, but is saved by Wade, the mysterious good guy. Or is he?
Dun, dun, dun.
Fast forward, and Wade invites Virgil to join his crew under a bridge. Sounds pretty sketchy, right? Well, it is. Now you see, Virgil is torn here because, gangs are bad news. Later, Wade rings him up for a secret meeting at the docks. And what's some secret meeting without some danger-labeled canisters? Classic. Things, however, escalated pretty quickly. Wade hands Virgil a gun, but our boy's got morals. He chucks it into the water, but surprise, Francis is here too. As if things couldn't get any worse, police helicopters show up, tear gas is fired, and one of those danger canisters explodes. Purple gas is everywhere. People are coughing, mutating, and it's all a bit chaotic. Virgil, he's just trying to get out of there without turning into a mutant. Spoiler though, he doesn't quite succeed. The next day, Virgil discovers he's electric. Literally. Razors buzz, blankets cling, and he's got the power. He shows off to Richie, his best bud, at a junkyard. After a few superhero costume trials, he finally becomes Static. Back to the warehouse, Static saves the day and even delivers some stolen computers to his school. And just when you think it's all over, Francis emerges from a hospital, all fiery and menacing, ready to set the city ablaze. Literally. Because why not? So F-Stop is back with some fiery vengeance, but now he's calling himself Hotstreak, because, branding.
Even got a new name, Hot Streak.
Virgil's like, round 2, buddy, and is all set to zap him out. But wait, Virgil discovers that Alva and the mayor are the sneaky masterminds behind the metahuman gas, so he goes all James Bond, sneaking into Alva's office. He fights off what he feels like a gazillion henchmen, grabs a disc with all the tea on it, and bounces. But plot twist, the disc gets destroyed during a rematch with Hotstreak, but Static's like, not today. And finally puts Hotstreak in his place. Now remember Derek Barnett, the school's top jock? He's like, hey Virgil, help a dude out with some tutoring.
My math and science grades are a little shaky. Coach said get a tutor or I'm off the team.
But surprise, Derek's also a bang baby. Dude who became mutants because of that gas and goes all glowy from pure ionic energy. He could also shoot energy balls from his hands. And then there's this shadowy dude, Ebon, who's basically a mastermind that's collecting metahumans like they're Pokemon cards. He's got Talent, who's part bird, I mean, who wouldn't want wings, and Shiv, who's basically a human Swiss Army knife. One night, Virgil and his buddy Richie get trapped in school with a bunch of journalists. I mean, could it get any worse? Oh look, there's a stretchy dude called Rubber Band Man who's mad at a rapper. I guess it can. Virgil's also flipping burgers on the side, but superhero duties call, and he's out there faster than you can say, would you like some fries with that? Virgil then gets into this fancy school, the Van Moore Institute. But plot twist once again, they just want to use him to catch Static. But hey, every cloud has a silver lining, and Virgil finds a friend in Daisy Watkins. And then there's this kid, Dwayne, who can literally change reality. His stepbrother's like, jackpot, and tries to use him for his own gains. Now here's where things get real. Richie's dad? Yeah, He's got some issues with Virgil, and not because he's late for dinner. He had issues with Virgil's African-American background, but after a dramatic rescue mission, Mr. Foley realizes he's been a jerk and promises to change for the better. Richie and Virgil have a bit of a bromance hiccup, especially when Richie's inventions go haywire and a new villain, Slipstream, enters the scene. But like all besties, they patch things up and team up to save the day. Hey, remember Rubber Band Man? Well, he's back, but now he's a rapper and also dating Virgil's sister. Ooh, drama alert. And then there's Alva's son, who's desperate for daddy's approval. He becomes omnifarious, and let's just say things get rocky, literally. Virgil then has to deal with this evil twin thanks to a metahuman named Replay. And lastly, there's a student, Thomas Kim, who's a perfectionist to the extreme. He turns into a purple monster when he's upset. I mean, who hasn't really felt like that during exams, am I right? So Virgil and Richie confront him, he goes berserk, transforming into the beast, and begins to go on a rampage. Static lures Kim away from potentially damageable areas until he calms down and reverts to human form. Alright gang, Season 2 starts off with something special. Batman and Robin decide they're bored of Gotham and swing by to team up with Static. Why, you ask? To take down the Joker, of course. Because you know, Batman just can't get away from that guy. Meanwhile, Richie, our tech genius, has a random encounter with an old dude named Ragtag in some shady alley. And guess what? He's got superpowers. But there's a catch. Richie can now shoot purple energy beams, but to keep this cool new power, he's gotta do some dirty work for Ragtag. See? There are always some strings attached. Now while Static's busy juggling his superhero duties, his sister Sharon gets a tad suspicious. She's like, is Virgil actually Static?
Know that you're static.
And Virgil's like, no way, sis.
What makes you say that?
Static.
But then, the Rough Pack, a bunch of nosy metahumans, are on his tail trying to uncover a secret. And just when you think things couldn't get any crazier, Shaquille O'Neal pops in. The Shaq himself. He's doing some charity work, and Static's trying to help, but these metahumans are relentless, I tell you. Now Christmas rolls around, and Dakota turns into a winter wonderland, but not the fun kind. It's all thanks to Permafrost, a metahuman who can't control her icy powers. But here's the twist. She's just a traumatized homeless girl who's been ignored one too many times. Static, being the good guy that he is, tries to help her out. Then, sunspots appear, and they're messing with Static's power. One minute, he's flying high, and the next, he's not. It's like his powers have a mind of their own. And if that's not enough drama, Virgil's running from a cop to hide a Static suit, only to find out that she's dating his dad. Awkward. Rubber Band Man gets out of jail and wants to be a hero too, but Static's like, nah, I don't trust you.
If I ever need a sidekick, I'll give you a call.
But Ebon, Rubber Man's bro, wants him back in the villain squad. Family drama, am I right? Static goes on a few missions, but then, in a heart-wrenching episode, Virgil befriends Jimmy, a quiet kid who's bullied to the brink. Things take a dark turn, and it's a stark reminder of the real-world issues kids face. Sir Virgil is chatting with Dr. Franklin, probably the only psychiatrist. Virgil's been hanging out with this techie kid named Jimmy Osgood. Now just when Jimmy starts making pals, like our main man Virgil and others like Richie and Frida, he becomes the favorite target of the school's resident bullies, Nick, Kevin, and Ray. It's like when they had a who could be the meanest contest, and all three of them were vying for the top spot. Fast forward to Halloween prep at the community center. Jimmy's out here being the tech wizard with special effects, but our trio of troublemakers decide to pull a prank that's seriously twisted. They scare the daylights out of him and stuff him in a locker. I mean, come on, who does that? Now here's where things get real intense. Jimmy goes AWOL for a week. Virgil, being the good buddy that we know he is, checks up on him, only to find Jimmy's battle journal. They discover that Jimmy's got a plan involving a gun. Yikes. And guess what? The gun's missing. Double yikes. Next thing you know, Jimmy's at the community center with tears streaming down his cheeks while also pointing the gun at Nick. Nick tries to apologize his way out of it, but Jimmy's not having it. Richie, being the hero that we didn't know we needed at the point, steps in. But then, plot twist, a bullet goes off hitting Richie. In the aftermath, Jimmy's getting some much-needed therapy and a stint in juvie. Virgil and Frida, they're convinced he's in the wrong place. As for our troublesome trio, they're doing community service, probably picking up trash or something equally glamorous. The story wraps up with Virgil and Richie, who's now rocking a stylish leg cast, spotting another kid getting bullied. And this time, Virgil steps in because let's face it, nobody wants another Jimmy situation on their hands. Moving on to Season 3, we're first introduced to a young meta-human girl named Nails. She's lured to Gotham by none other than the dynamic duo of Mischief, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. She's hoping for a cure, but instead, she gets two supervillains trying to cash in on her superpowers. Textbook Gotham, everyone. But fear not, Static and Batman swoop in, forming the ultimate dream team to save the day and help Nails. Now let's talk about Richie. This guy's been inventing like there's no tomorrow, and it's got Virgil a tad worried. Richie's feeling a bit overshadowed by Static's flashy powers. I mean, super intelligence is cool and all, but it doesn't exactly make for a great party trick. However, when the meta-breed kidnaps Virgil, Richie steps up and voila, the hero gear is born. And trust me, he's way cooler than his name suggests. Vacation time. The Hawkins family decides to take a trip to Ghana, but as you would expect, there's no rest for our heroes. Static teams up with the legendary African folk hero Anansi to stop some bandits led by a leopard fiend named Asaba. They're after an ancient treasure, and they're not afraid to destroy homes and lives to get it. It's like a superhero version of a heist movie, but with more leopards. Then enters Shebang. No, that's not an explosion. It's a sassy female teenage superhero. She's got Static's number, showing him up every time they cross paths. But there's more to her than meets the eye. She's genetically engineered, and the company that made her wants her back. It's like a superhero version of a custody battle, but with more spandex. Things take a cosmic turn when a powerful cosmic string hits the Justice League's watchtower. Power's out, and the tower is hurtling towards Earth. Batman, being the genius that we all know him for, suggests that Static recharge it. But there's a twist. Brainiac's infiltrated the system, so it's up to Static and Gear to kick him out. But Brainiac's not going down without a fight. He takes control over Richie and the League, so Static has to step up to save his best bud and the day. Next up, we have some TV time. A producer named Bernie Rast wants to make Static a star, but fame comes with its challenges. A new metahuman with electromagnetic abilities is causing chaos, and it's all caught on live TV. Static and Gear, who's jealous because of all the attention that Static is getting, have to set aside their differences and team up to stop him. Hey, what do you know? Superman makes his first appearance on the show when Toyman shows up in Dakota. This episode ties up some loose ends from Superman the Animated Series. It's a crossover episode we didn't know we needed because the duo teams up to defeat Toyman. Now let's talk about the blackout. 5 years ago, Dakota was plunged into darkness, leading to gang riots, which was possibly a play on the Los Angeles riots of 1992. Virgil's trying to remember his late mother, Jean, who tragically lost her life that night. Enter Time Zone, a new metahuman with time-traveling abilities. But when Ebon steals Gear's device, they're sent back to the night of the riots. It's a heart-wrenching trip down memory lane where Virgil comes face-to-face with his late mother, Jean. And lastly, for the season finale, Static teams up with Soul Power, a retired superhero, to defeat Professor Menace. There's a bit of a generation gap, but together, they prove that heroes come in all ages. Now this brings us to the last season of the series. So Static, after helping out Batman and Robin, yeah, every season's first episode has Batman in it, gets a one-way ticket 40 years into the future. Talk about a time travel mishap. There, he meets the Batman of the future, Terry McGinnis. The mission? To save an older Static who's been captured. It's like looking into a mirror, but the mirror's got gray hair and wrinkles. Ugh. Oh! Back in Dakota, Shebang makes a comeback, and boy is she loud. It's like having that one friend who never knows when to use their indoor voice. But while Static and Gear are trying to adjust the volume on Shebang, Madeline Spaulding is out there leveling up her powers. She's gone from mind control to telekinesis and is breaking out her metahuman pals from jail. Static's got his hands full, and it's not just with Shebang's decibel levels. Then, Anansi pops into Dakota. He's on a mission to stop Asaba and his gang from getting their hands on a magical spider. And guess who ends up with this artifact? Sharon. Yep, Static's day just keeps getting better. Now here's a twist. Static goes head-to-head with Green Lantern. Yep, even Green Lantern and the other Justice League characters made an appearance. But wait, it's not what you think. Green Lantern isn't the bad guy here. There's another sneaky villain pulling the strings. And speaking of strings, the Nightbreed, a bunch of bang babies who can't stand sunlight, are plotting to turn Dakota into eternal night. Led by Ebon, they're out to give everyone a taste of the dark side. But in a bizarre turn of events, Edwin Alva, in an attempt to bring his son back, nabs Static, Hotstreak, Talon, Gear, and Rubber Band Man. The real kicker? Static and Hotstreak are handcuffed together. Imagine these two, fire and electricity, having to play nice and save the day. Well, the rescuing game got a zillion times more entertaining because they actually worked together to save everyone. For Season 4 special guests, basketball and superheroes go hand in hand. Yep, that's a thing. Static teams up with the Hoop Squad, which includes NBA legends like Steve Nash and Yao Ming, to save Gear from the clutches of the evil Dr. Odium. That's a slam dunk to the rescue.
Lob!
Then, the show brings us to Aqua Maria, that cool water lady who got turned into a bang baby. So our dynamic duo, Static and Gear, managed to catch her, and they're like, hey, want to try this experimental cure we've got? She's all for it, but plot twist, Hotstreak, the human bonfire, messes everything up. Poor Aqua Maria ends up turning into a jelly monster, unable to get her groove back. And man, is she mad. She's about to make Dakota City her personal splash pad. After this, we meet Omnara. This tech-savvy former Alva Industries employee had one job, unmask Static. But after the wild No Man's Island shenanigans, her boss Alva was like, we don't need that info anymore.
My son is alive, and I no longer have a problem with Static.
So what's a girl to do? Blackmail, of course. She's got Static in a twist, forcing him to play Robin Hood with Alva Industries tech goodies. And as a bonus, we get a little scuffle between Static and Gear. Oh, and Virgil's dad? Yep, he's now in on the secret. Last, but by no means least, the grand finale. So Sharon's on Virgil's case for being lazy at home. At school, Richie's shocked that he got a B- on his test. But Virgil's got bigger issues. Frida and Daisy are super annoyed because they keep vanishing when they promise to help out. Now, Kangor and Ferret, two villains, were onto their usual mischief, but something unexpected occurs. When Static and Gear jump into action, Kangor loses his powers mid-fight. Talk about bad timing, right? Well, it turns out there's this Dr. Todd spraying a cure that's turning all the bang babies back to normal again, including, yep, our heroes. By the way, Gear's having a full-blown meltdown at a gas station about losing his cool techie powers. Now on the other hand, Ebon's crew hunts down the bang baby gas, hoping to get their powers back. Oh, and Talon? She's now a normal girl named Teresa and is actually thrilled about it. So as Static and Gear's powers fade, they realize Ebon's planning a new Big Bang. Basically, he wants a superhero upgrade. Chaos ensues at the docks, where Ebon and Hotstreak have a fiery face-off and inhale so much of the gas that they merge into this terrifying dual-headed monster. I call him Ebon Streak. Sounds like a rejected Pokemon, right? Anyways, our heroes face off against this behemoth. It's intense, but trust Static to come up with a genius plan involving a gas tank and a massive explosion. The ship sinks, and our heroes fly away, wondering if Ebon Streak survived and plotting to counteract the cure. And that's Static Shock in a nutshell. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if so, then do smash that like button like a boss, and dive into the next video for more mind-blowing content.